As part of our ongoing video series, we're talking with Charlie Casartello, an attorney with Pellegrini, Seeley, Ryan, and Blakesley. Hey, Charlie.
Hello, Adam.
Today, we're talking about the complicated world of workers' compensation law. And as we know, there are a lot of pitfalls and a lot of things just to be aware of as you're going through your workers' compensation case. One of the things I know that's come up a lot is working with a nurse case manager. And for those who may not be aware of what that is, talk a little bit about what is the nurse case manager and how is it affect the client in a workers' comp case?
Sure, Adam. A nurse case manager is a licensed professional, and she is involved in the management of a workers' compensation claim. The nurse case manager is not involved in providing care to the injured worker.
And who does the nurse work for?
The nurse case manager works for the insurance company or a company hired by the workers' compensation insurance company. She does not enter into a nurse-patient relationship with the injured worker. The nurse case manager most assuredly does not work for the injured worker.
What is her job? What's her primary duty?
I think if you talk to a nurse case manager, that person would tell you most likely that their job is to ensure that an injured worker receives timely, high-quality medical treatment for work-related injuries. But from what we see on our side representing injured workers is that the nurse case manager is also intimately involved in arranging light duty or bringing about a return to work. The nurse case manager might attempt to have direct communication with an injured worker's doctor. And sometimes that's helpful and many times it's not. No doubt, the nurse case manager is going to have regular communication with the workers' compensation insurance company adjuster. That is the line of communication in this relationship.
Do you have to cooperate with this nurse case manager?
No, an injured worker is not required to cooperate with the nurse case manager. An injured worker can definitely decline services, and there should be no repercussions for passing up on the help that a nurse case manager offers to provide. However, if the injured worker is receiving workers' comp benefits without prejudice, there can be some bumps in the road if the worker declines services. So it's a decision that has to be made carefully.
What are some of the disadvantages of working with one of these nurses?
Well, there certainly are some disadvantages. One of them is that the nurse case manager can go around the injured worker and directly communicate with that worker's doctor to talk about work restrictions, other factors that might be affecting injury or disability, things that might not be in the injured worker's best interest. A nurse case manager can try to influence the doctor. A nurse case manager can attempt to participate in doctor visits and even affect the doctor's plan for treatment.
Are there advantages to working with a nurse like this?
Sure. A nurse case manager can help an injured worker. Sometimes they can expedite medical appointments or treatments. Sometimes a nurse case manager can identify specialists and actually advocate for the injured worker to obtain more expert care or even a second opinion through the adjuster. There certainly have been stories when the nurse case manager stood up to an adjuster or an insurance company lawyer to support an injured worker.
I'm sure each case is different, but overall, should a client work with that nurse case manager?
Well, I'm going to give you a common response to that question. It depends. Making a decision about whether to cooperate with a nurse case manager involves basically weighing pros and cons. And as I said earlier, it depends on the status of the injured worker's case. If they are in the pay without prejudice period, there may be a reason to cooperate. But if not, things can be different. Every nurse case manager is different. Some are excellent, highly professional, extremely ethical health experts. But others, unfortunately, function like their field adjusters. Any injured worker should have as much information as possible and obtain the insights of a qualified workers' compensation lawyer when trying to make a decision about whether to cooperate and take advantage of nurse case manager services or not. Working with a nurse case manager sounds great, but there can be hidden problems which could affect the injured worker's case.
Very good. Charlie Casartello from PSRB, thank you so much.
My pleasure, Adam.